In this lesson, we're going to talk about how to hold your guitar pick correctly, so that you can minimize the amount of tension in your hands. What you want to do ideally is be able to play with no tension. Now, I talk about this in the warming up lesson, and with my private students and Skype students and stuff that I see all the time, I mention this a lot. But anyway, so what we want to do is take your finger as though, and place the pick on it and balance it there like it's an arrowhead. Hopefully you can see that. Then you take your finger and you curl it around so that your thumb can sit flat on it. Now, you want a lot of surface area of your finger here, this flat portion. It's not on the side of it, it's kind of more right here. And then you want a lot of the flat area from your thumb sitting on it. So by doing it this way, you can hold it a little bit more relaxed. You're holding it firmly, but relaxed, if that makes any sense. Also, what you don't want to do is hold it way back here, because then you don't have the control. It's going to flop around in your hand, which, that combined with a couple other things I'm going to mention in just a moment is the reason that most people drop their guitar picks. So, holding it like this is going to be ideal. Now, one thing that you want to do with this hand is, if you take your hand and you extend these fingers, you can see these muscles engage. You see that? You can watch the muscles engage. Now, if I take my hand and I do this, you can again see the muscles engage. What you want to do is find that spot where your muscles relax, like this. You want everything squishy in here. And that is about the curvature of your fingers that you want. But that's based only on the fact that you want that hand relaxed. Now again, you're still holding the pick firmly, but that will help you. One, it's going to help you play faster. Two, it's going to allow you to play for a lot longer without getting fatigued. Now, a couple of the things that I see that you really don't want to do. So the first thing, you don't want to pull your thumb back like this. If you pull your thumb back like that, you create a pivot point right here on the tip, on that bone, the tip of your thumb, or on your thumbnail. So that's why I was stressing you want the flat part of your thumb on there. The other thing that I see people do is they will curve this finger in because they're thinking, well, I don't want to hit my finger on the strings. You're not going to hit your finger on the strings. If you do, you'll only do it a couple of times, and it's not really going to hurt. It's just going to be uncomfortable. But as soon as you do this, you kind of curve that finger in, then this little bone right here, you've turned that into a pivot point. And that's, again, what you don't want. So imagine taking a plate or a piece of paper or anything that's flat and trying to press together really hard like this. Now, you've got two pivot points. Now, no matter how hard you push your fingers together, that object, whether it's a plate or a playing card or a piece of plastic or whatever, you can still spin that. But if you take the palms of your hands and do like this, and you have a lot of surface area on your hand holding that, it will stay in place and you can't move it. And that's really what you're looking for. It's a similar idea when you're holding your guitar pick. The other thing that I see is people that want to use that second finger and throw that into the mix. The only problem with that, if you're thinking about tension in your hand, is at some point this becomes this. When it becomes this muscle engages, and you're going to get a cramp in your hand that's going to start here. It's going to travel up this muscle, and it's eventually going to sit right back here. Your hand's going to get tired, and you're not going to be able to play for very long. So that's why I stress about tension, and I'm pretty sure that my students get tired of hearing about it, but I'm trying to help them. So again, take the finger, hold it out flat, place the pick on there like it's an arrowhead, and then the thumb goes on there approximately 90 degrees and flat. Now, the other thing you want to do, get as close to the tip of the pick as you can. Now, you only need that much pick. That's it. If you look at the thickness of your strings, you shouldn't be using any more than that. Now, the kind of pick that you use, the material, the size, the shape, the thickness, all of that is a personal choice. You know, personally, I use these little Tortex Jazz picks, and they're pretty heavy. They don't really bend. I think it's 1.14 millimeters. So they're the pitch black Jazz 3 Tortex picks. But I've been using these since I was a kid. The picks that I give to students when they first start with me, it's a medium pick, you know, because with a medium pick, it's got a little bit of flex, but not a ton. It's not super paper thin. If I find out that a student is really heavy-handed, then I move them down to a thinner pick. If they have a really light touch and they're ready and they're starting to develop that control, then I move them on to a thicker pick. The tone of a thicker pick is a little bit more round, it's a little bit more full, and it's going to sound better. Thinner picks are for people that, as I described to my students, it's for people who feel like they're beating their guitar like it owes them money. You know, you don't have to strum very hard. We'll talk about that in another lesson, but because this one's basically about just how to hold your guitar pick. Again, hold that out, go over it like that, and if you look, that's as much guitar pick as I keep sticking out of my thumb. So, hopefully that helps you out, and I will see you next time.